questions.
All right, you Grasshoppers, this is a big day here. Our lead fan, the all-time greatest fan in the history of New York Rangers, Janine Marie, is on with us.
The history.
That's a true story.
And one more time, that's awful. I got the CTE going. What's your friend's name?
Christina. She's part of my Angels. We have three of us. We call them Angels, right?
So Janine has a couple of fan groups. She's got about 14,000 in one of her fan groups and 2,000 in another. Ron
I got three, but the other one I don't really know.
Right.
But
Ron was just talking about his pregnant cat and how that'll happen.
I'm not sure how that happens.
No.
I don't know.
Well, I think Janine, you've got to give us a little background. Where did your Ranger passion come from?
It really, I was about 10 years old, and where I live, it's basically football and baseball. There wasn't many hockey fans growing up. And I was home alone. I just put a game on. It was a Ranger game, and the rest is history. Mark Pavlich was my man at the time.
Oh, good. Yeah.
That'd be a great name for a movie, Home Alone.
He was my first jersey.
Yeah.
And then just, and then when I worked in the city, when I got a job about 18, again, no big fans. I got all the tickets. I got season tickets. And then they cut me off at 94 playoffs.
Oh, wow.
Because then all the bigwigs wanted the tickets back.
Wow.
I got to go to the parade, though.
Yeah, that was something, right?
Yeah, I got Kovalov to yell at me, which was good. He said, I hear you. What do you want? I just wanted to say hi to me. He said, hello. And then he just laughed. I said, oh, okay.
Yeah, that was quite a day in the town.
Christina's dad, right? You got
My dad, my brothers, my grandparents.
So
I think we surpassed them in fandom.
Fandom. Are you both from Staten Island?
No, I came to Staten Island 4 years ago in Brooklynite most of my life.
Okay.
Very good.
Cool.
And Dave, big day for you, Dave. Dave, big day today. You got the power washer out?
Yeah, I got the power washer out this morning. Best tool ever. It's a power washer. Like
it is.
You can zap anything. You can, it's great.
I'm gonna watch somebody cleaning all day.
Dave, do you know how old you are?
Yeah. 2 years younger than you there, brother.
A year and a half.
A year and a half. Year and a half. Yeah. Year and a half.
A year and whatever.
Yeah.
Some days it's like 100 years. Some days it's like one.
So Janine, Lindy Ruff, the former Ranger assistant coach, got hired by the Devils. You happy about that he's gone? Are you a fan of his or what? Janine's frozen.
She's frozen in time.
Yeah.
Am I still frozen?
Yeah, you're okay now. So were you a Lindy Ruff?
No, I'm not a fan.
Oh. Okay.
Weren't a fan or not a fan now that he's a Devil?
Less of a fan.
Less of a fan. Right. No. I'm happy.
That's too bad. Lindy's a great dude. And good luck to Lindy. He's I played with him in Buffalo, and he was another guy as a roommate. You had to kind of sleep with one eye open, wondering what the hell he was going to do. He was like Nicky, right?
Yeah,
Gresh was a little bit like that too. You had to kind of wonder where Gresh was or what he was up to.
I was quiet.
Yeah.
Janine, what do you got? A little glass of rosé going there or something? What do you?
We got some Moscato.
Oh,
We're
Moscato.
fans. And we got some cherries too.
There you go.
And we got Ranger questions too.
Okay, fire away. Let's do the
All right,
Ranger.
fire away.
We're not going to go with the first question.
Why?
Why not?
We want to know if you know the insight on why Mark Stahl is still playing.
That's terrible.
We'll ignore that. I like Mark.
No, he's a good player.
He's a good
I
player.
agree with that.
He doesn't get enough credit in today's game for defending.
I agree.
And you've got, at the end of the day, you've got to have somebody that can defend and somebody that's going to be a big body back there. So
He's definitely one of those guys that people don't realize all the good things he does, right? Because if he's constantly doing them, you just don't notice it because he's constantly doing them all the time. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Tony D'Angelo right now.
Me too.
Yeah. Different.
I like him.
Yeah. You got to have players like D'Angelo. There's no question, but you got to have the stalls too.
Yes.
Yeah.
They bring lunch pails every game.
Yeah.
Okay.
right.
This is Tom. Someone wants to know, were you more nervous in a big game or being on TV on a remote island with a bunch of strangers trying to send you home?
Standing there in my underwear. You know what? The Survivor thing, I think because it's the age I'm at now, I've been through so much stuff, and so it really wasn't that nerve-wracking. It was actually a lot of fun being on Survivor. It was even things like eating rice all the day, lost 27 pounds, and sleeping in the dirt. Those things actually were it was a fun part of the experience. The big games, I don't know though. After a while, with it, nerves about the big games. It's I think it's the excitement about the big games, right? You've got 19 other guys that you're going into the game with, and everybody's counting on you to do your job, and Dave's going to do his job, and Ron's going to do his job. That I think is more the excitement of the big games as opposed to being nervous.
Tom, when you lost that,
you guys your nerves go away after a while, or it was just every game was an individual game?
Gene, you know what I like about this so far is that when Ron goes to make a statement, you just go right over top of him. I like that.
Listen, I want to know when Tom lost that 27.
Sorry.
Yeah, no.
15 of those pounds were hair.
No. So you know what? I think you probably when you're a rookie, I guess you're not as used to those big games, and you're more deferring to the older players on the team. But then it doesn't take long. I was lucky my first year. That was the year we went to the semifinals against the Rangers, or the Islanders, excuse me. So we went through some big games right away, and that was my rookie year. So yeah, it really wasn't a big deal.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I think the.
Hold on.
Yes, did you watch Tommy on the? Did you watch him? Did you say I know that guy? Do you ever think he'd end up on an island eating rice and sleeping in the dirt?
Well, I thought it would be an island, but it would be Alcatraz.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be like
They should have a show with all the Rangers on it.
Yeah.
Remember he left, right? When Tommy left, he didn't tell anybody he was leaving. So I'm calling him. He's not answering. I'm going, that MF-er. Not calling me back.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
And then he gets back. He tells me that. So I'm watching it, and it was like when the hockey games are on and that. So I'd come back, watch a game. I'd run back to watch the show, right? And he's not on it that night. He got canned.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to win it. Good for the
Should have.
An old fart like that winning it? God.
Guy. So one of our old teammates, Larry Melnick, here has got to chime in. Lindy Ruff at home. That was one of the sayings they had about him. Rough at home, Lindy on the road. I don't think that was very accurate, but
No, it didn't matter. He was a good player, good guy.
Okay, we got more questions. Jeanine? Oh, she's frozen.
again.
That's what happens out in Staten Island there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he a scapegoat?
Who's that?
Oh, froze.
We missed your question,
Can you hear me or no?
We can't.
Okay, someone wants to know, was the defensive troubles really on Ruff, or was he a scapegoat?
Well, it's kind of like the Scotty Bowman thing. You're only as good as your players. And I think the Rangers went through a couple of years. They were a little bit of turmoil with the defense and everything else. And I mean, look at the job Lindy did in Buffalo. Even in Dallas.
Yeah.
He knows the game. He knows he's a defenseman to start with, and he could play a little bit of forward. So he knew everything all around. I don't think it was all Lindy's fault. I think it's sometimes you're.
Well, you got to take the good with the bad, right? I mean, you're going to get.
Well, yeah.
They're going to praise you if they're doing great, and they're going to knock you if they're doing bad.
Listen, a lot of times winning coaches don't get fired.
Well, too, is when he was coaching with Alain Vigneault. So he's a lot different being an assistant coach. So Vigneault had a certain style. He had a lot more aggressive style in defensive zone. And, it certainly worked when you had McDonough, you had Stahl, you had Klein, you had that six on in 2014 and 15. I thought I'd throw that Klein name in there for you.
Yeah, don't say Klein. That's like
That's Janine's heartthrob.
Yeah, heartthrob.
Freeze up.
But and you had Strawman was your sixth defenseman. So again, as Gresh said, a lot of coaches are only as good as what you put out there. But then when that makeover started to happen, and they still wanted to play that aggressive style on their own end, there wasn't the same chemistry, same talent level. So David Quinn comes in, calms things down in the defensive zone, and it looks a little bit better. And you've got a little different personnel. A couple of guys that are a little better with the puck. They're going to move it a little more quickly, a little more patient with the puck. So, but Lindy's been around a long time, and he'll do really well in New Jersey. It'd be a nice voice there and a franchise that had a lot of hope going into last season, and it didn't work for them.
You know, and I think the defensive zone coverage and defensive play in general around the league is it's totally different now than when we played, right? I mean, a lot of the game now is those speed defensemen getting the puck out of the zone, whereas opposed when we played, it was, you know, more banging off the boards, bigger defensemen, they were banging bodies. I mean, they drafted players differently. They, you know, now it's those speed guys to get the puck out of your zone. So you look around the league sometimes as, you know, the old school kind of guys, and we don't, you know, we say, well, geez, why are they playing that way in their own zone? But it's a league-wide thing. It's just a different way of playing now than the way we did it. So.
Well, for sure. I mean, the thing is, you know, these guys move so much more quickly now.
Yeah.
I will say David Quinn is a little more throwback. You know, he has to read and react sort of thing rather than go. But at the end of the day, like, you know, we as defensemen always decided why leave the front of the net, because that's where the opponent was heading.
Yeah.
That's where they're heading to. Why in the world are we going to leave the front of the net? But,
yeah, now they're chasing a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about them playing in August? Coming back now instead of waiting, ending the season and coming back in August.
Well, I mean, they've got to do the best with what they've got, right? I mean, it's never going to be perfect. Look at all these leagues now. I think, you know, a lot of it's still. I'm still kind of concerned whether it's even going to work for any of the sports, and not like it's the league's fault at all. You know, now you see this spike in cases and deaths, and I like what the NHL did going out of the country. It seems like
I would have been happy if they just let this die out.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a number of things. You know, the league, when you look at the NHL and the Big Four in a lot of ways, although we're all passionate to the sport, right? Baseball, football, and basketball, by and large, have a higher profile in America than they do in Canada. So I think the league has done a great job to kind of keep itself relevant and to come up with a plan. And then as it turns out, you're going to go, you know, Canada's done a pretty good job of managing the pandemic. So you're going to be in Toronto, you're going to be in Edmonton, and there's all kinds of moving parts. I was talking to John Davidson yesterday, and but they fully expect things to work out, but it's all, again, determined by, you know, the health numbers. And so far, you know, today they came out with further dates. It looks like the season won't go beyond the 1st of October. And training camp will start. There'll be the draft a week after this little playoff is over. And then training camp will start again mid-November with December 1st being the opening of the 2021 season. So,
yeah.
But it's all right. It's all on the health.
I just want to be able to go to the game.
That might not happen for a while.
I know. And that's why I think I'm hesitant. Like, you know, you can't be in the crowd and you can't watch it. And,
yeah.
You know.
Well, there won't be any games this coming season because Canada closed the border down for a year.
Smart.
Yeah.
But they haven't closed it down yet. They're saying that they could possibly be closed down for a year.
Down for a year.
Yeah.
Well, they still made arrangements for this tournament.
For the tournament, yeah, but I'm talking about the international.
Yeah, coming up.
You know, it's going to be tough for them, and they
right.
You know, it's like people up there locked down. I mean,
That's the way it should be, though.
Well, I know. That's, you know, but
I mean, we all want to go about and do what we want to do, but.
And the unfortunate thing about not getting people in the building for hockey is live hockey is our best selling point, right?
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was the free drinks in the Delta Club.
Yeah. Well, yeah, some people do that, which is good. Good for you.
Yeah. Maybe you can still go there and sit by yourself in there.
Especially
I was there yesterday. Do you guys remember Cosby's?
Yeah.
Yes.
On 31st Street, they moved to 31st Street.
Right.
They got
meeting spot
it's
before
all gone.
Cosby.
Everything is gone.
Everything's
No,
There really isn't anything that's there anymore.
No,
I don't remember the
Cosby's
restaurant.
store on 31st
Right.
Street got broken into, and they stole everything.
Wow.
The Florida
They
Pop
left
shop.
one T-shirt.
That was crowded all the time.
I miss Carl.
What do you got for us, Janine? Next question. Janine, you got more questions?
It must be me.
She keeps freezing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that rosé.
Yeah.
So, all right, Janine.
Okay, so who's the best forward you ever played against?
Best forward we ever played against?
Good one.
Wayne Gretzky. That's a pretty easy one, I think, for me.
Oh, Lemieux, Gretzky, Messier, Lafleur.
Lafleur. I was going to say Lafleur.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we talked about him, last week. We talked about Gretzky. I only got 1 year against Lemieux, and which was a good thing. But he was often thought, boy, if he had been, if he knew how to compete when he came out of the Quebec League, and then if he hadn't gotten sick, what he would have been able to do, really.
That was amazing. He was that talented, but he didn't compete at all his first couple of years. You could compete him against and once he learned to compete, then he was a different animal.
I used to think Lafleur's number was 100. He went by me so fast.
And look, he used to come, and then he'd stop on a dime, right?
Yeah.
And then he'd go, where'd he go?
Yeah, I know. He was like,
the hair going, he had everything. It was good. He was great. He was really good.
What do you got, Janine? Every time I go to ask Janine a question, she freezes up on me.
And for someone who's grown up liking hockey, I'm just amazed right now. I'm lost. I thought I wouldn't be able to speak.
No, you're speaking well.
My mouth keeps going.
You got any more questions?
Go ahead.
I'm a big fan of the Chirps. So who was some of the chirpiest players you might have played against, or what's some of the, cleaner chirps that you might be able to share?
Well, I think one of the guys we've got on here is one of the Kings. Don't you think, Dave?
All-time. He was the all-time best chirper.
Ron Greshner.
Really can't say really can't say the things we say.
Yeah, no, that's.
Yeah,
I would be in Facebook jail.
I'm in Facebook jail now.
I wouldn't be around. I'd be locked up for a long time. I'd be just getting out now.
Yeah.
There's lots of stuff that you just, I don't know.
There's some funny stuff out there.
Yeah. There's things in your brain that just work out. And it's funny. My mother's 97. My mother's got that wit too. She thinks my mother's 97. She thinks I'm 10. She goes, if I say, I'm leaving to go to a meeting, she goes, are you wearing nice clothes? No, I'm wearing. Anyway, listen to me. There were a lot of guys that had a lot of good things to say, or smart ass things to say, I should say.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of things that, and the funny thing was, I don't think any of it was ever racial.
No.
It was more like just disgusting.
Yeah.
It was.
Well, the thing is, too, once you got yourself in that game, you got to be careful because there's some guys that are really good at it. Right? I think I got John McLean one time. I think I was out in LA and they came in and played. He was the captain of the team, and I said to him, "Who did you suck up to get the C in your sweater?" And he looks at me, and says, "Who did you suck up to still be playing?" So, that's the thing. Once you start getting in that game,
you got to be prepared, right? Yeah.
As those ones I looked at, I said, "Oh, you got me. That was good."
I'll tell you, there are a couple of guys on the Rangers that are pretty. This group now, Lemieux.
How about D'Angelo? Pretty good too.
Tony D'Angelo. Really quick. And the biggest. It's funny. The night when Mika scored 5, right, against Washington. Washington whined the whole night. They whined from the coaches. They whined about the penalties. They whined about, but the one guy that could get away with the whine was Wilson, right? That guy, he turned to glare. Like Lemieux was yapping at him, right? And Wilson turned to yap back at him. I just happened to be in the line of fire, and I'm going, oh my God, that guy scares the daylights out of me. But Lemieux didn't back down. Tony didn't back down. It's the whole stuff is such. But true, you can't really repeat. We can
read lips.
We had the bill on for an hour, and it's about the same stuff. But it's pretty good stuff. It's
Susan Brooks has mentioned Esa Tikin in there. The only problem with Tikin was you couldn't understand a word he was saying.
Right.
Oh, I know.
It was pretty funny actually because he'd start chirping, and then his teammates would be beside him and looking at him, and he'd skate away, and they go, "We don't understand him either." They just
yeah. And I think too, in all honesty, I think that should stay where it is, you
Yeah.
know, because it's just, I think there's certain parts of the game, even the locker room.
Oh.
Like I always thought the locker room belonged to the players, right?
Yeah.
Just, you know, maybe it's a little old school. I know the TV cameras in there now with the coaches talking between periods and right after the game, you're in there. How about right after the game in the old days, Gretch, in the back room, right? The
Yeah.
back room there. And
Yeah, I remember when they had. I remember when the first female reporter came in.
Right.
Back in the 70s, everybody was panicking.
Yeah.
So what's better to do? Just drop your laundry and walk right through the crowd and see what happens.
Yeah. Steve Rizzo wants to know what was Pierre LaRouche like as a player and teammate?
I actually hated him as an opponent because I thought he was prima donna and soft, and then when I got to play with him, I just thought he was tremendous. He was one of the top skilled guys I ever played with. Boy, that guy could do a lot. Whew.
Yeah.
He was
the year, I don't know if we should get in trouble telling the story, but the year he was going to score 50 goals, he got to 48. He was mad in the locker room and he punched a soda can and broke his wrist.
And that stopped him at 48.
I think it did, yeah.
He was great though. But I remember as an opponent, you know, he just seemed to be kind of out there, maybe yapping away, and you know, you could tell how skilled he was. You just wondered how much he cared.
Yeah.
But boy, I was pretty impressed as a teammate. I thought he was great.
I think that was part of his game, right? He gave that attitude to the other team that he really wasn't competing that hard, but at the same time, he had that, you know, way to score goals. Yeah.
He would be the other guy in the post-practice keep-away game that you never get the puck from, like Gresh and him.
The thing about Pierre loved free donuts.
He loved free donuts.
Oh God! If anybody bought donuts, Pierre was over there sniffing them out. You know, he used to put that, whatever you call it, in the shaving cream and stuff, and he would eat it.
Yeah, he was
I had to put you on my phone. Sorry.
Yeah, we lost you, Janine.
Yeah, my computer kept freezing, so I just shut it off.
So you got any more questions for us?
Christine, you want to go on there and see on the Ranger page? Because now I'm on my phone.
right.
So who's our guest? Who's going to take Lindy Ruff's spot there behind the bench?
Here's my group, by the way.
Who's your favorite goalie to play in?
I am a Ranger, capital A-M. Who's what?
Who's your favorite goalie?
Who is your favorite goalie to play in front of?
None of them. They all sucked.
I love it. I love it.
Wow.
JD for me.
Yeah, JD.
I like JD, but I liked Little Beezer a lot because he could move the puck.
Yeah.
So when they shot it in, he'd shoot it out. Job done. You know.
How about Gresh? I don't know what it was like for you, but Eddie Johnson was the first goalie I ever played with that actually let me know what was going on. I never had any goals as a junior, or you know, probably as Kurt Ridley and those were, but oh my God,
Good job. You're trying to take Gretchen's job here. What are you doing?
But I remember Eddie Jockman being the guy. He was great. He'd let you know who was coming and what was up. Oh, he was really good.
And Eddie wasn't a big guy, but he was tough though.
Yeah.
He'd swing that stick at people, and I think that's where Billy Smith got it from.
You know, another goalie I played in front was like that was Tommy Barassa.
Oh yeah,
he was tough.
Was he really?
Wasn't he big though? Wasn't he a big guy?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was like 6'2", you know, Boston kid. Like in those days, I obviously played with him in Buffalo, and Buffalo and Quebec had the rival. They had Hunter, and they had.
Yeah.
You know, Quebec had some guys that like to get after. Tommy wouldn't take a back seat. He'd be fighting him, throwing away. He was tough. Tommy was tough. He might have been the toughest goalie I ever played in front of.
Really?
Yeah.
JD was pretty tough.
Yeah. Well, the Western Canadian guys.
Yeah, well, I remember JD was playing for Calgary Centennials.
Right.
And we had this guy on our team, Barry Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Barry would have been probably better than Potvin.
Wow.
Oh, this guy was. We were the same age, but he was he was like 6'2.5", 215 at that time.
Wow.
And so a brawl broke out, and JD went to get him, and JD threw his gloves at Barry, and you can ask JD, all JD saw coming through the gloves was his fist. He caught it right on the beak.
Yeah.
He had to stand there for a second to figure out where he was. And JD was a big guy in junior. I mean, he was a big man. Like, he was 6'3". I think he was only like 190 then.
190.
Yeah. Speaking of which, do you remember, like, what was the worst beating you ever took? I have a couple.
In junior?
In pro. Remember?
I fought Dave Brown one time in a preseason game.
Yeah.
He was in Philly, and he beat me up good. The linesman jumped in. I tried to reach over and sucker him. And, we got to the penalty box there at the old Spectrum, where it's wide open there and everything, so everybody could hear. He goes, Tommy, what are you trying to sucker me for? I took it easy on you. Took it easy on me, beat the crap out of me.
What's his name? What's his name? Bob Rouse?
Bob Rouse, yeah.
In Washington?
No, I think
he was in Minnie, wasn't he?
Minnesota then, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. And by the time I got my gloves off, I got about 8 of them in the head.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, how do I grab on right now? I can't see anything.
Yeah. So
he hit me so many times. I didn't know what happened. It was like quick, like bang.
I got knocked out by Kurt Bennett. It was at black belt in karate.
That's right. I saw the video of that. Yeah.
And then I remember too was Willie Plett. Remember him?
Big man.
God, he beat the daylights out of me in Atlanta too. Oh my God!
What happened with Bennett? Like a karate guy or something like that? Was it?
Yeah, I'm sure I speared him or jacked him or did something. And I turned around and was like, whack! Yeah. Down goes Frazier.
That's hard to believe that you would have speared anybody back then. You needed a tomahawk. You needed a stick.
Well, that's like, remember the brawl we had in Chicago where Jack O'Callahan broke his...
Is that what he came after you?
Yeah, I hit Larmer. Larmer had scored. Just as he scored, I cross-checked him. And I went to skate back to the bench, and O'Callahan came in and wham, hit me right in the chin.
Right.
Don had the broken stick, and he was wailing and Gresh. There was blood on the ice.
I ended up with no top, nothing on. I was like, no, but the guy, you didn't do it dirty. The check you did wasn't dirty.
Yeah, I didn't think that was dirty. That one.
No, I didn't think so either. But evidently he did. And funny up, they had a guy organized the year after 9/11. Organized a golf outing, and O'Callahan was there. And I got talking. And actually, this year also, he came on with us in Chicago. He's a character, right? He's from South Boston. He's a Boston guy who lives in Chicago. But I had to show him the nice scar he gave me right here.
Yeah. Janine, you got any more questions for us?
Okay. Someone wants to know, what is your thought on the Holius Anderson situation, and could it have been handled differently?
On the what?
Well, from what I know,
Holius Anderson.
Holius Anderson.
Yeah, from what I know from it, could have been handled differently by the player. I mean, I got the sense, Dave, you're probably more in tune than I am, but I just got the sense the player didn't want to really fight for his job as much as I thought he should be doing. It's more like, okay, I'm not getting the job, so I'm quitting and going home kind of mentality. But that's what I saw.
Did he take his ball with him?
I think he did. He took his ball and went home. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. That's good.
He's probably, in a lot of ways, there's a couple things about him, right? Remember, like when he was drafted, it was his compete, like his willingness to do what he had to do, to compete, and that was a big part of what people liked about him, right? So he gets drafted where he gets drafted, and then he's, he was kind of force-fed. He's just not ready. But in the meantime, I think he thinks he's ready, and he goes back and he works hard, and then he throws. And another sign about him is when he threw a silver medal into the stands, right?
Yeah.
That was a big turnoff for a lot of people.
There's a couple ways you can look at that. Like, you could turn off at it, or you say your guy has got a pretty high standard of winning.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, it was just a question from a skill set. I'm not sure he did anything really well enough, and the whole package after time just didn't seem to add up, but it still doesn't forgive him because I think the franchise is very good for him. KD has been tremendous with him.
Yep.
Got him, allowed him to go back to Sweden and play. And then whether he was going to be on the invite to come back, who knows? But right away, he determined he was going to stay in Sweden. So,
it's interesting for me too, because being an agent, watching that, and I don't know the relationship between his agent and him. That's a young player, probably immature, just hasn't learned a lot of stuff yet. Where the agent, to me, has really got to step in and say, "Listen, this is not the way you do this. If you want to play in the National Hockey League still, you need to. There's certain procedures you need to go through to get it done." But again, I don't know the agent or the relationship there either. But
there's a tremendous kid. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's polite, friendly, all those things. But when it came to where I think he thought he should be, and really where he was, now again you've got Strome comes in and plays really well. Mika's become all world.
Yeah.
Howden is probably a perfect third line center. And then Hedl, you got Hedl too. So in the scheme of things, I think you just play, and maybe the worst thing has happened. They find a place in the movie and have a chance.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, then Hedl's drafted after him, and comes up
right.
Pressure mounts.
So I guess if he was 7th, I think, and Hedl was 21 or 20, if they flip flop those picks, nobody,
Nobody says a word. Yeah.
Ginny, how's the wine going there, Ginny?
What happened?
How's your wine?
I put it down for now after the phone dropped.
Are you like underground or something? Are you underground with that mic and everything? It's like.
Well, listen to the IT expert over here, Ron Grossman, Mr. IT.
It always looks good when somebody's worse than me.
Yeah.
I shut my computer. I'm on a little phone propped up against the Poland Springs bottle.
Oh, nice. It's not a box of wine yet. So, Janine, more questions?
Who do you think is going to be the starting goalie for the Rangers?
The guy with the big pads.
Guy with the big pads?
Yeah, the guy with the big pads.
Okay. Okay. All right. Here's another one. I would ask. Let's see how you felt about the overall skill level in the league versus the league you played in.
Oh, skill level is way better now.
No comparison.
Yeah.
The guys on the. It's kind of like in golf today, where you got number 1 and number 125 is a quarter of a stroke difference.
Stroke difference, right?
Yeah, and you got guys that 40 years ago on the fourth line could hardly skate. And you got guys that no, it's true though.
It's true.
They couldn't skate, couldn't handle the puck that well. That's why it was. That's why where the thing came 1, 2, 3 or whatever lines, Yeah. And nowadays, those guys on the fourth line can skate. Maybe they can't handle the puck as well as like say Crosby on the first line, but they're not that far, not that much difference. And the guys are in great shape, man. It's like hockey's fun to watch. I can't wait for it to start up.
See, I think we've talked about this before. I think if we were all privy to the ideas on training and nutrition and the money, that the money's too much not to do the things to give yourself a chance to be a better player. If that had been our culture, we would have equally. Because I think there's no question the bottom has been risen in the skill sets. But I speak for all three of us. I think if we'd all had, if that was the mindset then that it is now, we would be equally as skilled.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole different game too, right? I mean, the fighting component to it, the training methods weren't there, the equipment was different. Again, and even the draft, like they've talked before, they drafted players for different reasons, right? Thank God they did back when I played. They drafted big, slower defensemen, to hammer people, and now it's a whole different kind of player they're bringing in the league. But you're right, David. I mean, these guys, they hire their own coaches, their own trainers, and everything during the summer, so they improve their skill level.
And they're on different. They've got edge coaches, shooting coaches, nutrition coaches as kids, 14, 15-year-olds. So it's, I'm even impressed. I watch the high school games in the area. On a relative basis, it's better than it was 10 or 15 years ago.
We had bar coaches though.
Bar coaches, yes. Yeah. Lots of those.
You can only drink 12 shots before you go. Okay.
But don't you think there was more? I think there was more heart to the game back then when you guys played.
Well,
it's just different.
I mean, it's money now. It's more money.
Yeah,
the game and everything.
You know what though? I think like Gresh is saying, it's different. These guys still have heart. I mean, it's just the game is so different. Like, our heart was shown in, like dropping your gloves and getting in a fight, right? I mean, that's just not part of the game now. I mean, these guys still have heart. It's more skating heart. And,
I mean, maybe part of the passion has left the game, but that passion, the league kind of diluted that passion. Not the players.
I agree with that.
Well, maybe the physical aspect. I do what I see. A lot of times, to me, the games all look the same because in a lot of ways, the players all play the same. It's like almost like watching Sega hockey. It's like, but everything's fast. So the person that can hold the puck, like Panarin or Fox, guys like that have a little imagination. Like Gresh had a great sense of his timing, right? Like he could hold it, move, hear. Like even, it was a quick game when we played, not as quick, but I don't see a lot of that. That's the thing that I miss is just a little imagination, a little sense that, and I've got more time than I think they have, but it's like, to me, it's like NASCAR with no lanes. There's just like,
that was because of the red line, Dave.
Yeah.
I mean, you take that out, it's like Coach Quinn asked Brian Leach, is the game a lot faster than it is today, right? I mean, is it faster today than it was back when you played? He goes, well, of course it is. He says, you don't have 2 or 3 guys hooking and holding you and spearing you going down the ice.
Right.
Grabbing you.
Right.
And the red line is also gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Guys are just, like they're just wheeling. Which is good, though. I mean, it opens the game up.
It is funny watching those old games, right, when there's no red line and there's hooking and holding, like the stuff they're getting away with. You're so used to watching the game now when you're thinking, how the heck did we get away with that back then?
And the other thing that needs too is somebody sent me a picture. It was a shot that was taken from the left point. We were playing Colorado. We take the shot, and there's like one guy in front of me and maybe 2 guys in front of the net. And you're like, where in the world is everybody else? Like, you look now and the puck comes back to the point, everybody's in front of the net. There are times it looks like might hockey, right? And they're down in the corner, but that's what they do. They all attack the zones of the ice because everybody can get there. And,
I think, Dave, back then it was a little bit different because if you went to the front of the net, you got a cold hole across your forehead, a cold hole across your neck. It was different going to the net. You got dinged, and now they like. I feel bad for the defenseman. The guy goes to the front, you push him a little bit, and it's a penalty.
Right.
Or lay a stick on his arms or his hands. But if it wasn't hooking and grabbing, I never could have got back into our end.
Let me tell you the story about my first games against the Flyers. So we're playing at the Garden, and I go down the right side. I'm carrying the puck into the Flyers end of the ice, and I turn to the middle, and I go, I thought I had my shoulder chopped off, right? So I get back to the bench. Nick Beverly was my partner. Remember him, Gresh?
Yeah, I remember him.
Beverly was my partner, and it was Ed Van Imp. Ed Van Imp was left defenseman. And he says, what did you learn, kid? What did you learn on that shift? I don't know. Somebody hit me with an axe. I don't know what I learned. He says, you never try and go wide on Eddie Van Imp.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah, but you're right. It's just from that aspect.
Yeah.
So different. So different.
Much.
Janine, you still there?
I don't know what. More question. Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you.
And then I'm going to dip after that because if something's going on with my phone.
Okay.
Okay. Listen. Do you guys like the rule changes that have been installed in the past couple of years?
So that's more what the slashes to the hands in, right? The last couple of years. Yeah. Well, it's like anything else. When it first happened, I think everybody was like, "Oh, the players have never adjusted to this. They're calling penalties all the time early in the season," and the players adjusted to it. And I think now it's just you can go back after when the 04-05 lockout, and they came back with all the hooking rules and everything. At first, it was like it looked like this is just never going to work because they're constantly calling penalties. But the players adapted to it, and I think the players have adapted to these rules now. So it's sped up the game. It's the way the game is going. There's more opportunities to score goals. Right. What the fans want.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I don't want don't want to be a guy who said, well, when we played, well, you know what, we got to get over that. The game is the way it's at now, and I think we all agree it's a pretty good product. One thing that I had a hard time getting used to was, there are times when the hands get hooked and it really doesn't have anything to do with how the play evolves.
Yeah.
So referees used to have a little discretion.
Yeah.
But I guess, and again, there's so much more around the puck now than there ever was. So I don't think the referee can afford to have discretion. He's got to make the call because it's there. So.
Yeah, that's a great point, because it was like the playoff games or late in the game. The referee's going to let you away with anything, and I think now they're just saying no, it's called all the time. It doesn't matter.
Right.
I think they should get away with that, shooting the puck over the boards. Have it on the whole ice, or just not in the defensive zone.
Oh, you've been talking to Kotze too much.
No, I don't mind the penalty. I like the penalty. I mean, wherever you are, you go to shoot it in. I mean, you got to learn not to shoot it over the glass is high enough. If you have to shoot it higher than that to get it in, you should get a penalty in the offensive zone too.
No,
it's too much.
No,
I want to see more power plays. I want to see more goals.
No, it's good. Don't touch that.
Yeah, I have a hard time with the offensive zone. You don't see the puck go out of play that often in the offensive zone, right? Or through the neutral.
Yeah. Gresham's been brainwashed by Chris Katsopoulos on that. That's Kotze's thing.
That's Kotze's.
Yeah.
No, and I also think that they should have like a 6-inch rule on the offsides.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, he broke. It's close enough. Let him go.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's the thing with video now, too, right? Video review. The problem is, technology allows you to look at everything, but you've got to minimize how they use that too, because it kill the people in the building.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than an exciting play that happens and there's a 5-minute review. The building just goes dead. And you can go home. You're at home. You get up and grab another beer. You can do what you got to do. But I'm telling you, when it gets extended, and the problem too is the reality is nobody in the building knows what they're looking at.
Yeah.
I think what they should do, Dave, is have the 1-minute review, and if whatever the call was on the ice, right?
Right.
At 1 minute, it's cut off. If there's no decision, it stays to what the call
was. Right.
And you're right. That 5-minute thing. I mean, for me watching at home, I get to go to the bathroom, get a beer, mix the jack up. But when you're in the building, it's like it's in the third period, the bar's closed.
There you go. He's the only guy. Hey, Tommy, I like too. He drinks the Delta Club. He's the only guy that can afford the prices at the Delta Club, and he's getting free drinks.
Yeah. Well, no, I sneak into all the suites and get a drink out of there.
Oh, there you go.
No, I'm kidding, MSG. I'm kidding.
Janine, you got more questions for us?
No, I'm gonna go. My microphone keeps closing out. I don't know if I'm screwing you guys up.
Well, you can stay on. I'll just mute you from here. You can stay on. That's what I do to Gresh sometimes. Gresh doesn't even know I'm doing that to him. I mute him. Who is it, Chloe?
No, it's not. It's car dealership. You want to buy my car for me?
No, it's the head of the suites at MSG.
Yeah, that's right. You want their money back.
Do it. Honest to God, I didn't do it.
Is it Kevin Klein?
Kevin Klein.
Is it Kevin?
Yeah,
it's Kevin Klein. Where's Kevin Klein now? Is he over in Europe or something? Or is he done playing?
He's I believe he's in. He was in Germany.
Right.
Sure. Does that start with an S?
Germany. No, I think he's in Germany. Is where he was. It's easy to find out. But he's from Kitchener, Waterloo. He's really a good. He's a car nut too. He's a car mechanic. Like he takes cars apart and puts them back together. And
really?
Yeah, he's got a big machine shop. He's got a place north of Toronto that he's done. He was a character. He was a real character.
Yes.
Really good dude.
So we got 4 major sports all trying to come back: football, baseball, basketball, hockey. I'm going to get your guys' opinions. Janine, I'm going to mute you because you're making noise on us, sir. Is football going to come back and play next season?
No.
No?
No.
Really?
No. I don't think so. There's just too much. They're too close unless they're all going to wear a mask. There's too much contact.
You're going to have that. You got you got the guys, you got 56 guys now, or 53 guys?
Yeah.
Plus the squad, whatever. And you got, how are you going to contain all those guys? And how are you going to get from town to city without somebody catching the virus?
Yeah.
The only thing is with football, it's one game a week, right?
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, it might be manageable. But now they're talking about this thing like this aerosol effect, right? About how this thing can get spread.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the one sport where, well, how many people are on the line? There's 5 or 6 on the line, and they're within. And until they, so I don't think football's coming back.
How about baseball?
Maybe we'll go touch football. Maybe touch.
There you go.
Flag.
Baseball. How about baseball, guys? Coming back?
I was a good coach in flag football. I was assistant coach, but I took the credit.
I think baseball has a shot.
Yeah.
I think baseball has a shot. Yeah. Again, because there's not that much contact, right? There's, and you could probably play with a mask if you needed to.
Right.
Yeah, but still, you're not going to have the fans.
Well, that's the bottom line is really they'll come back like hockey, right? It'll come back. Do it. I hope. My real hope is they come back. Doesn't have to stop. They get it done, and learn what they learn, and then move from there. But nobody knows, what it's going to look like in December.
Yeah.
So.
How about basketball?
I don't know. I think it's on the hockey level right there. It could come back with no fans because you only got you only need 8 players, I guess.
Right.
They have 11 team roster, but the thing that's going to be missed is going to be bad for, especially the NHL.
Yeah. Is
coming up is with the smaller TV contracts and everything else. Even if they do the games with no fans, you got a lot of revenue that you're not going to get from all the fans going to the games, which are probably, I don't know what the percentage is being sold out, but you're going to not have that merchandise and everything else that's sold and bought. And, every time I bring my kids and their friends to the games, I don't like bringing them because it costs me money.
There you go.
Jerseys, T-shirts.
You
can only steal so much from MSG. Joking. It's joking again.
I think it's 65% of the revenues are generated on game nights.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Right there.
So that includes merchandise, food, parking.
Yeah.
So that's a big, and that's the thing you have to be somewhat, if you're an owner. I think all the ownerships, it sounds like they buy into this to get hockey back on the map. But the big thing is, then what? How's it going to look? And to the credit, really, the labor issue has been settled.
Yeah.
They extended the CBA, and there really looks like there's a willingness to kind of work with one another between the escrow revenues, keeping the cap flat for I think it's 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, they've capped the escrow now too, so it gets
cap the escrow 20%, cap the cap at I think 81.5 million. Yeah. So that for me is reassuring that there seems to be some willingness to say, okay, we're in this thing together. We want to make this thing work, but you still have to get people in the building somehow. Yeah,
I think you're right. I think that, but that's only going to work if you can bring the people back. Because say you're making 10 million, and 65% of that's gone, so you're making 3.5 million.
Right.
That's how it kind of breaks down, right?
Right.
And
with the player salary, Gresh?
Yeah, player salary wise.
No, they capped the escrow now at 20%.
20%.
Yeah, how they're gonna lose their shirt?
Well, they've got some mechanism in there. The Players Association plays back the owners over time.
Right.
So to Dave's point, like that kind of stuff there that you're talking about, like that agreement, like that was amazing to me that they got that done like that.
That's huge. Like you look at baseball there, it's been a bitter between the players and the owners. Football is such a different animal because there's so much money in football.
Yeah.
Between the television contracts and the stadiums and stuff like that. And obviously the basketball money is unbelievable too for TV.
Yeah.
But no, for the NHLPA and the management to kind of come to an agreement and extend it for 4 to 5 years. That's
okay. Well, just say for hypothetical that this year coming up, 2021, doesn't kick off with fans.
All right.
And this thing runs to the next year.
Right.
They pay $80 million, $81 million per team, and that they're playing without fans, and the revenue gets chopped this year and then chopped next year. I think there's going to be some teams going.
Well, which why wouldn't there be if there's no revenue? I mean, at the end of the day, and I think there's a couple things. I think they're, hoping that perhaps there'd be a vaccine sooner than later. You'd be able to, even if you could open up your buildings, to a 30% capacity, and would people who are actually able to come to the game, would they be willing to pay a little bit more?
Yeah.
Maybe you can generate some revenues, and that way there would be some social distancing and things like that, you would think, because technology will allow, I think, quickly people to be scanned going into buildings and infrared and stuff like that.
It's for me too, though. I mean, the fans that want to see the games, that are currently going to the games, I mean, they're going to be forced to watch it on TV now, right? So the problem with our sport in the past has been that the TV ratings have not been that good. I mean, does that mean the ratings go up more? I mean, they've got to go up somewhat more.
You would think, right? Although, yeah, you would think. I mean, that there are a lot of people that go to the games that don't watch it on TV prior, and it'll be interesting. It's an interesting. I still think our sport is a very passionate sport.
Yeah.
The regions are growing, but I still think it's difficult for a lot of people to watch it on TV, despite much more improved technology, much more improved.
Dave, have you seen the tracking puck work?
Well, speaking, I mean, I was with Fox when they did that, and I haven't seen the new generations of tracking the puck.
Because remember, they're going to start that in the playoffs. So I'm assuming that's going to.
Well, that's just from the analytics standpoint, right? Like they're going to chart. It's not like that's going to be visible on the screen. I don't think so.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to be like the Fox. Now, I could be wrong. I think it'll track where the puck goes relative to where the players go, and like SAP is the big tech company that Lee's in with, and they'll be able to generate all kinds of different analytics off of speed, positioning, how fast the puck moves, how fast the players move. That's my understanding of how that would play out.
You know how much money that would have cost them 40 years ago at some of those guys stick handling?
Gresh, so what are we going to do with the cat then? How far is the cat? Like, what is it, like same kind of period of time that the cat stays pregnant? Is it
the cats are like they're between 60 and 65 days, and I'm kind of like the foster father, I guess that'd be, like stepfather. My kids had it, and whatever, and so I took it, and it's like.
You take them to the vet and everything?
No, you don't take them to the vet. They take them all after they're born. They all get shots.
So for sure this cat's pregnant?
Unless she swallowed a beach ball.
Oh.
Or a tennis ball, maybe tennis ball, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
You're gonna go look for the father?
No, they were sniffing around here for a couple of days. I saw them. They're over here. So, yeah. Well, I don't know where they are now, but I can't tell you what I did.
Oh, cat's gone.
I just scared them. I scared them.
And what are we going to do with the kittens? Like, you're going to have like some kind of a giveaway? Maybe we should do that on the show here, like give away the kittens.
Absolutely, I'll do that. My son wants to sell them.
There you go.
I go, okay. I go.
There's another Greshner businessman.
Yeah, businessman.
Next generation.
Yeah, they got these for Christmas. They paid $200 for them.
Whoa.
You paid $200 for a cat? A farm boy paid $200 for a cat?
Not me. Not me.
Oh.
I wouldn't. You'd have to send 200 of them.
Dave, when you get animals, they get a dog or a cat, Dave? Or?
Yeah, we have both. We have Elvis is our dog and Belle's a cat.
Oh,
I love that name, Elvis.
Elvis, yeah, he was from a litter in Tennessee. He was a rescue, and there
I
were
love that.
7 of them, and they were all named after characters of Forrest Gump. So we got Elvis.
Oh,
and like Tom, all of us were kind of rural guys, right?
Yeah.
Like we had a dog and cats on the farm, and the dog just chased the cows, and the cats kept the rats out of the mice,
yes,
out of the milk. And
What vet Like,
Yeah, I don't. I asked my siblings, who ever fed our dog anyway? I don't remember. Like our dog, let me tell you, our dog's diet. He's got he eats rabbit, venison, canned pumpkin, and kefir. How about that?
That's
I
nice.
had this little, we had this little schnauzer kind of dog, not schnauzer, but the long neck pug, long nosed pug. And somebody goes to me one day, she died when she was like probably 12 or 13. Somebody goes, that's not good. Dogs eat chocolate. I go, get out of here. We had this pepperoni was the dog's name.
Pepperoni.
Pepperoni. You put a piece of chocolate down, gobble it up.
Oh wow!
It is not good for dogs.
No,
She loved it. She ate it since she was a bit like a kid, like a little pup or whatever, and loved it. When then we had to put it to sleep, she got cancer.
Yeah,
So
from
we
eating
kept her-
chocolate.
What's that?
From eating chocolate.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. And she should have died when she was 2.
How about on the farm with the cats? They'd be outside all the time, like you said, Dave, right? Because you keep the cats in the barn so they kill the mice so they don't chew the binder twine on the bales.
yeah.
During the winter when it's cold, you pull up with your warm car and the cat would go up into the engine block there to stay warm. Then you go to start the car up again in the fan belt. Hold up, man.
I remember they were so tough too. They were like Tina Turner cats, right? They their hair all over the place, right? So they get it. So we had a dairy farm, right?
And
So we had
that
a
short
dairy
tail.
farm where, you milk the cows and you separate the skim from the cream and strip the cream to the dairy and feed the skim milk to the calves, right?
Yeah.
So the cats would come down and try and get into the cream, and we take the pellet gun, boom, fire them, and they'd just like flap away. Wouldn't even face them. They were unbelievable. Yeah.
So, okay, let me get this straight. We're going to get arrested here by the SPC or something like that. Gresh tried to poison his cat with chocolate. You're shooting the cats with
I didn't poison. No.
BB gun.
I never poisoned the dog. The dog lived for 13 and a half years.
Right. Would have lived for another 14 if he had eaten chocolate, though.
You're only supposed to live 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She lived 2.5 years longer.
Yeah.
No, she was a great dog. It was a sad day when we had to put her to sleep. In like 3 months, she went from like being this little pudgy little thing to being like I took her to the doctor. He goes, or to the vet, whatever. He goes, she doesn't have long to go. She's got like all full of cancer and that. And like we try to keep her alive a little longer than that, and then all of a sudden, like in October, I think it was 2 years ago, we took her in, and but she was like down to like she ruined like everything you could ruin because she couldn't go anywhere. She just peed.
Yeah.
Well, you can't get mad at her. I mean, she's not feeling good, so finally
Sounds
we all
like
took her
I'm
to
gonna end up.
Yeah, and you feel bad, It's like I'd rather see him take humans in.
I'm going to start crying in a minute. I'm going to start crying.
No, I'd rather see him take humans in than take a dog or a cat in. I wouldn't miss the human as much.
Yeah.
Nothing against. But,
Yeah, our dog is great. My wife grew up a real affectionate animal person. Otherwise,
Yeah.
but our dog, he's really good. He's like a defensive back in football. He's quick. He can move. He's good. Good dog.
All right, we're going to get Janine back on here just to say goodbye to her. Janine, are you still there?
I'm here.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show with us.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed myself.
You made
Thank
you
you
made
very much.
the IT stuff. So
We'll have
Yeah.
a drink soon.
Yeah, keep the dream alive.
I don't know what happened, but sorry, guys.
no problem. You're great. You're fantastic. Good work.
That happened to me
Oh,
one
wait.
time. I didn't pay my electric bill.
Before I go, that's my little cat,
What's your cat's name?
Farah. She's a Sphinx cat.
You don't feed a
Inside
chocolate.
out.
do you? No chocolate?
The cat's
Nope.
inside out.
Can you take a photo?
Shut up. My cat's beautiful.
Somebody turned that cat inside
Keep,
out.
keep Dave away from the cat. He's got his pellet gun.
All right, guys.
Hey, guys.
All right.
Those man shavers.
We'll see everybody next week.
All right.
Take
Good.
care. Okay, have a good time.
All right, guys.
Stay safe.
Later.